Hey everyone, it's Alex from Business Growth Bureau alongside Rupert. We're actually bringing you today quite a relevant question we feel for right now in terms of how do you win clients that have an existing supplier? It's quite a relevant question, I think. In terms of this, Rupert, where do we actually kick this one off?
Well, I mean, let's just deal with a few examples. So it's well known, for example, people are very reluctant, for example, to change away from their current banks. It doesn't matter how hard or how easy people try and make it, or by regulation, whatever it may be. In real terms, even they may be getting quite poor service from a bank, they will quite often stick with them. And it's quite often the same with things like energy suppliers and other examples. And although we're not in that space, and many of our clients aren't in that space, you do equally get people who may be accountants, for example, and maybe solicitors. If you've got a relationship with an accountant, for example, you may be very reluctant to change. The same with a solicitor. So if you are in that space yourself, let's say you're a solicitor or an accountant, or equally you are trying to win business from other similar related industries, it is quite often playing, as you suggest, the long game with that. And that's about building relationships, accelerating relationships of trust, and then putting a whole range of different strategies around that to win those people over time.
Yeah, so it's all about it's actually about thinking about things from the long term, opposed to how do I get a sale now. It's actually how do I build a friendship, how do I build a relationship, and how do I actually, the most important thing, something we talk about quite a lot about, is actually how do I accelerate the relationship of trust, right?
Yeah, quite. So for example, if you just deal with a couple of examples there, if, for example, you and I went out networking as a case in point, then what we wouldn't be wise to do is go straight out with some form of sales pitch. And with that, you want to build up a relationship with the person, show genuine interest in what that person has to offer or that company has to offer, and equally the other way around, people start asking questions of you. Equally, if you're dealing with things online, let's say you're reaching out to other businesses or you're trying to win a contract away from another supplier, you've got to be prepared, first of all, to play the long game. You've got to share lots of value, so that could be about sharing some thought leadership pieces, some video content. It may be about offering some sort of diagnostic, inviting them to some private events, some exclusive events. And for example, let's choose an accountant because it's a fairly easy one. A lot of people, when they make the move from one accountancy firm to another, may only really want to do it at certain points during the cycle over a 12-month period. So for example, if someone's month end is the end of March, it may be that they won't want to consider moving until 2 or 3 months later when that final set of accounts has actually been prepared. If you happen to approach them, say, in September or November the previous year, that could be a very smart thing to do, but it may be you've just got to be aware of the fact you may not get a decision to switch until 2 or 3 months after the year end.
And something that's quite important to probably mention is that it's not always about price, is it? Like, people think, oh, if I try and go in with a cheaper price to my supplier, you have to understand that the reason we stay with things that we know is either because we're scared of change, but more importantly, it's because we have a relationship with them people. So you have to admit the fact, two hard truths: you could be a cheaper supplier, you could even be a better supplier, but you're going to stay with the thing that you know because you're either comfortable with that or because you have an ongoing relationship. So this is why about the quality of the product or service that you're actually putting out there should always outweigh the price of anything. If you go in with the cheapest of something, you may win some people over that way because people always like cheaper prices. But really, if you've got long-standing relationships, it's very, very hard to win, and so you have to make sure the quality of the product matches the prices you're paying for it.
Yeah, quite. And also it's interesting, again, going back to the solicitor accountant scenarios, a lot of people get to develop a relationship with that accountant. The accountant may almost appear to be like a friend or someone they can trust and relay information to. So, that's the type of thing you're having to deal with. Also, it's the inertia of change, getting people to make that change. So it really is a case of getting in deep and building, getting in deep, sharing lots of value, but accelerating that relationship of trust, presenting yourself as a safe pair of hands. And to take your example a second ago about price, quite often price can help, as you suggest, but also sometimes if you go in too low, it can suggest that your service or product may be a little bit inferior as well. So it's about understanding the mindset of the people you're trying to deal with.
Yeah, 100%. So I suppose the thing to look at is actually speak to the market, I suppose. Something actually that we do quite a lot is actually talk to the market. The reason these videos have come about is because we talk to our clients, potential clients. What do they actually want? What information do they want? And what do they actually need from certain companies? Speak to the industry. Although they may have long-standing relationships and so on and so forth, they may also actually have, because they have those relationships, they're kind of scared to say, you're not actually doing this for me, because they may be friends, they may be such long relationships. So speak to the market, speak to your target audience and say, what do you want? Like, what is currently missing from this industry right now? What would you need moving forward? I had a great interview with a client of ours yesterday, who are in the faster payment industry. They're looking to cut down every payment in the UK to 10 seconds. Whether it's a back payment, whatever, to 10 seconds. You don't wait anything longer than 10 seconds for any payment. So none of this 5 days, 5 working days, anything like that, 10 seconds. And he said the only reason we came about was we listened to what people wanted. Before we developed anything, before we spent a single penny on development, we went out to the market and said, what do you want? We tried to find it, we couldn't find it, so we built that. But that was based upon what everybody was saying that they wanted. So if you think about your business right now, if you've listened this far, think about your business right now. Think about how you're doing things. But in the same breath, think about what does actually somebody want. And 2 great questions are supposed to ask is, what am I selling, but what are people buying? Because sometimes there's a real mismatch between, I think I'm selling X, but really people are buying Y.
Yeah, quite.
So it's quite important to sit there and actually speak to the market and speak to the market and actually what do you want? But more importantly, what are people buying, and am I selling that?
Yeah, quite. Yeah.
Is that a cool way to wrap up?
I think there's probably something else to add a little bit in there as well. Again, going back to the fact we're playing a little bit for the long game here, is obviously through our proper prospect nurturing process, you'll get to those golden nuggets. We can help you to get to those very people who are interested in making the change. But the other thing is with that as well, because we give you access to Lepsos, which is our lead management prospect nurturing sales optimization system, as it were, basically all the activity you can actually track through that. Now we actually give that to you as a platform that you can use, which is platform agnostic. And the good thing is you can actually set some form of action date, follow-up date in there. So let's say we create an opportunity for you, or we show you how to do it, an opportunity is created for you, but you know it's a timing issue. In other words, you know that you need to approach that person, say in March or August or whatever it may be in a particular year. You can set an action date, and that will then remind you to follow that person up, in which case you can then start the next part of the engagement process off a little bit beforehand. And that's available to you as a potential client, and that's designed to also complement other systems. So if you've got other systems internally you already use, then that's great. You can export the data straight into your own system. If you haven't got one, then this will help you to do that. But again, this will help you to play for the long game, which is what's so important here.
Perfect. Thank you so much for watching. Rupert Honeywood from Business Growth Bureau. I'm Alex Smith. Thank you so much for watching. If you have found value from this video, we do run a free webinar, runs for about an hour. And the idea around it is to give away the 7 transformational steps to success, which we give away the tools that we personally use ourselves on actually how do we generate 8 to 13 hot prospects from every 100 people that we speak to in our chosen market. So if this is something you feel like you're struggling with and this video has been any ounce of help to you, it may be worth jumping onto our free webinar, and you're given the opportunity after, if you watch the entire video, to actually sit with and actually speak with Rupert or the team and actually discuss and map out the future of your business based upon our principles. So if you found any value from this, jump over to the website, secure your seat on our webinar, and we'll hopefully see you there very soon. Take care.
That's great. Thank you.